Welcome to another episode of the Strategies for the Workplace podcast. Just a quick reminder that the book from which these articles are taken is now available on Amazon. And now, onto this week's article. Top down and bottom up. Many tasks require the organization and analysis of sets of data, even if a single summary statistic will be provided for some audiences. For example, an activity may be assigned a solitary expected revenue or expense budget number, but there will be a good deal of detail hidden beneath the total. In the case of revenue, each source, whether it is a sales representative, product, etc., might have an estimate, and these figures might be aggregated by, say, regions or departments and so on, under even broader categories until one value bubbles up. Similarly, in the case of a budget, estimates might be developed at a fine level of detail and then rolled up into ultimately a single number. Conversely, a company may have an overall revenue or expense goal that is then allocated ever more narrowly down to the individual actor or activity. The point is to recognize the terms top-down and bottom-up and to think about whether you should apply either or both approaches. Let's talk about how to apply this. There are at least two classes of problems, allocation and estimation, that regularly employ the top-down, bottom-up, or both methods. Allocation involves apportioning shares in some pool of resources. All resources are finite, such as distributing funds, labor, or materials. Often, allocation is made against a backdrop of aggregations by business function, geography, personnel category, or otherwise. To arrive at the total allocation, you could start at the smallest unit of consumption, say an individual with a single task, and roll up amounts ever more generally. Alternatively, you could start with the total allocation and distribute amounts ever more specifically down to the bottom. Neither method is inherently better. Note that if you want to force a specific total allocation, dividing top-down may be more effective, as each sub-organization figures out how to make do with what they have been allotted. If you ask people first to declare what they require, you may not be pleased with the aggregate, as it may not match your overall resources. For example, if you ask each subunit for a budget, you may find that you can't afford the total. Now you need to either change your expectations or ask folks to revise plans to meet some new, less generous amount, what you could have gotten to with top-down. A common budgeting method is to start with values from the previous budgeting period and adjust up or down or leave things as is. A more comprehensive method is zero-based budgeting, where you set every amount to zero and then justify each value. Zero-based budgeting can help you root out entrenched behavior, where you simply are continuing as before without carefully examining what you are doing. While recognizing that most folks ask for more than they need, a higher cost for some task really may be required, and this will be masked by asking teams to restrict a project scope to a specific dollar amount. Clearly, there is no foolproof method. Estimation, which can be a similar process of aggregating or disaggregation, may be used more often as a bottom-up exercise. In all cases where you use one of the methods, consider using the other as a check. If the results vary widely, you have uncovered a problem.